I do think that it is very important not to forget that society is not only depending on technologies and the knowledge which feeds into new technologies, but that society is indeed depending on a proper continuation, reconstruction, and criticism of its own traditions, because these traditions are the ones who give us a certain orientation of how to understand men in society, men in the world.
When you look back, what themes of your research do you look upon as the most important?
That's not easy to answer. I suppose that democracy is at least one major issue if I look back. That was the obvious alternative to the regime under which I had been living until I became 15 years old. I'm also a product of what at that time was called re-education. So democracy is like ein roter Faden, a red thread through my work from the beginning until what I'm presently interested in, for instance, in legal philosophy or international law. I was always convinced that there is a cognitive dimension in this democratic procedure, and this is why I'm one of the first and most vigilant defenders of deliberative democracy. And deliberative democracy obviously leads to the second major issue of my work, communicative rationality. I was always convinced that there is in everyday communicative life, everyday communication, also a kind of push to give reasons, to be more or less reasonable, to give answers to the questions, why did you say that? Why did you do that? And so that was the motivation to pursue a bit further the issue of the kind of reason that is, so to say, built into our everyday language.
Do you have any further thoughts or reflections on the Herbert Prize Award?
I think this prize is in good hands with my colleagues in Bergen, and they will know how to further develop this remarkable foundation. But let me finish with a rather personal remark. When I got that prize, I had an ambivalent feeling. Of course, I am proud. But let me just remind you that I had the opportunity to grow up in post-war Germany within a generation of rather productive sociologists and philosophers. And then you see that I couldn't have probably written any book without being part of a generational discourse in my country, so that I can accept such a prize only if I think that it is also dedicated to a whole academic cohort and context without which I wouldn't have become the one I am. Yeah.